Hey everyone, John Henry here, slingshotfutures.com, and welcome to the Market Mindset, where we dig into the reasoning behind the moves today so that we can better understand tomorrow. And looking at today, we're taking a look at crude oil. And crude oil, we started off today with not really much of a gap, right? Very, very small gap, immediately fills into a strong bear move down. And that's after the wedge that we saw yesterday forming. Right now, after that wedge, we have to be a little bit concerned of the fact that this may not be that strong of a breakout. We have the overall downside pressure from yesterday showing, that it may have some downside momentum left, but in the end, it ended the day yesterday as a range, and we have to assume we're probably going to stay a range for a while. So looking for buyers to start coming in underneath the lows makes a lot of sense, unless we get a strong clue of a breakout. We started seeing some strong clues of a breakout right here, and we were talking about in the room how aggressively you could probably sell that because it's going to go a little bit further down faster than you're going to be able to find buyers underneath the lows. They're breaking out underneath the overall bullish trend line at the bottom. We saw the buyers fail right here. That's a nice strong bear candle. Everything is pointing to the downside with a little bit more aggression than you would expect to see on a fake break of the lows. But if you skipped on that one, we had a big move down, nice follow-through move, and that does confirm that the breakout is likely going to hold. We still know that buyers are going to be fading into this, assuming that it is a range, so it is a nice buy opportunity to drive the market back up and at least just retest the prior low of day, right? Very commonly, when you see any level like this, you get a break, a retest, and then it continues. And that's really what you're looking for in this area. We broke out, we came back to retest it. So a quick scalp buy has a potential of getting a nice bounce up very fast before pushing back down. And it looks like everybody who bought that exited at the exact same place because that was a gargantuan drive lower. Now, this move down, again, another one in the room that we were talking about where you could potentially buy that one, but you are going really far down, and that was a pretty strong breakout move. And given the context, we just broke out and pulled back to the prior low of day. There's a good chance that this continues to keep going, right? We get some nice continued movement to the downside, and we know that sellers are very likely, at the least, if they come back to here, they're going to want to sell that point again. Look at the reaction, right? So if it comes back to that area, we need to be looking to sell to drive the market back down. The market comes up, starts filling a lot of sellers on the way up, and the reason I say that is look at that big wick right there, huge wick, and that fills a boatload of sellers. The sellers weren't able to get the job done though. They got stuck a little bit at the bottom before turning back higher, and that does trap in some sellers. There will be longer-term swing sellers that are perfectly fine with this pulling back on them. Their stop is probably up here somewhere, so they're looking to scale into the move. The market drives back and starts pushing into the moving average right around where that bounce took place earlier. That's a nice secondary sell area that the market can come in and the sellers can try to drive the market back down again. But notice what didn't happen? We never actually triggered in the sellers. It never went that one tick lower, and that's a big clue. Because now we know that there's a decent amount of bullish pressure here. They may want to finish the job off, maybe trap the high above this before finding some selling pressure. They push up, they trap the highs, and the reason we know it's a trap, all wick at the highs. If this is a strong move, this should have been able to close higher, keep going, nice, strong, continued momentum to the upside, and they couldn't do it. So they trap the highs and immediately turn back down in a very strong bear candle, and that is another beautiful reason to sell to attempt to drive the market back down. Maybe not all the way down to the lows anymore, but at least towards the lows down here where we last saw the buyers show up, and that's where we start seeing a ton of bouncing all through here. So just a beautiful example of just kind of a combination of several different factors today, ending the day yesterday in a wedge, breaking out of the wedge, getting some confirmation that the breakout was successful, and then looking to potentially sell the next retest as well for another drive lower. So that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you found it interesting. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, jbrink@slingshotfutures.com, and we will see you all tomorrow. Have a good one.